If you're going to take one soundbite and say, what is marketing? That's marketing.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate? To get the answers, we interview the top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. If you would like one-on-one access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Would you go down another layer? I'm just curious sorry to jump in,
Yeah.
But like your second topic is, why you need a human focused niche. It's like, okay, well, it's not investors. Could it be, it is families looking for duplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes as investment properties? Is like, these are going down further. Is that kind of where you're going?
No, so I would go even further. So when we're talking about a human-focused niche, the only way to effectively solve a problem is solving the problem of a specific group of people. So it's a psychological problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all marketing, all niching, everything is always focusing on either alleviating pain or increasing pleasure, right? So it's the same way that I'll say, like, repeats and referrals are not a niche, luxury and investors are not niches. You need to get specific on the human desire behind these type of people. So investors may be focused on creating generational wealth, and the needs of the people will look very different. Like the needs of investors will look very different. How do I say this so that it makes sense? A first-time investor, their needs, what they're concerned about, what they're trying to build is very, very different than an investor who has a big real estate portfolio, right? So when we're niching down, you can't just say I specialize in investors, because the signature process, the signature system that you build is going to be entirely different for a new investor than it is going to be for a seasoned investor.
100%.
So it all comes down to, like, the niches and investors, it's families looking to create that generational wealth for their families, or entrepreneurs and professionals who are seeking time and income freedom, or, who are you speaking to? Who is the person? And just like anything else, like every single big brand that you can think of has a very specific ideal customer. That doesn't mean that is the only person who goes there, but it means that their marketing, the way that the store is laid out, the way that they, the colors that they've chosen, the products that they actually stock, every single thing is geared towards that ideal customer, right?
Do you think that by going too deep or too narrow, you're pigeon-toeing yourself into not having, more clients?
There's a balance. So there's a balance. It depends on the size of your market. If you are, like, as an example, if you are in like a smaller town, you could work with, professionals. If you're in New York City, you can work with female A-type corporate professionals. You know what I mean? So like what we want to do is we want to look at how many people are in that demographic. And I think so often people are like, oh, well, my town only, or my area only has 10,000 people. It's like, okay, great, but you only need 100 deals.
Right.
So let's look at how we can start. We can dominate that niche. And then once you dominate that niche, you can move on, or you can expand the niche. The mistake that most people make is they actually start too broad.
100%.
And then they never resonate, and they like their messaging is too vague, and it becomes just this same old, even though they're really trying to niche down, but because they haven't gone narrow enough, their messaging just isn't resonating, and it's being filtered out with the rest of the noise in the real estate space.
So that's kind of where I'm going, right? So whether you're a newer agent or, you got 100K under your belt, maybe you don't have that super consistent business yet, where you're trying to figure out what your niche is, what would you recommend to somebody like that? Myself included.
Yeah, you do need to niche down. First of all, you want to look at, where are you in your life? Who is going to resonate with you? What can you tie your story into? Right? Like most newer agents, if they're really young, will say, like, start with first-time buyers. because yes, you may not want a business that's full of first-time buyers for the rest of your life, but those first-time buyers will eventually become upsizers. And for right now, that's probably going to be like what you truly, from a value add expertise standpoint, can handle. Those are the people who are going to resonate with you. But there's a lot of different ways to look at it, right? Like, we have brand new agents coming in who specialize in like the LGBTQ plus community, right? It doesn't have to be just like, it could, like, we have brand new people coming in who live in cities who are focusing in on dog owners living in condos because they're a dog owner living in condo. And they know what the pains and the problems are. They can tell stories. They can give advice on different areas and different places and different dog parks, and the pain points are there. Like, there's so many different ways of doing it. Like in Toronto, there's a niche that's coming out a lot, which are, families, like full families with, 2 kids and a dog that are living in condos.
Right.
Because of the affordability of real estate there.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you would like access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below. Now back to the show. It's interesting because, like, when I think about us, for example, specifically Peter, like, even when we started selling real estate, it was like new family, moved from Philly to a new city. You thought about stuff like schools and locations, places for your kids to play. Like, you considered this, for example, all for yourself, right? So like, you're a young dad. You got 2 kids now. I think he's had a second one since we last spoke, Jess. I think he had one when we last spoke. He's got 2 now.
Congratulations.
And it's like, you just, a bit like I can resonate with, my real estate niche would be, do you own a race car? Yes or no? That's my real estate. Because if you fucking own one, I know where your head's at. Like, we'll get rid of the wife ASAP. We'll get a big shed. Like, I'm with you.
We're moving in together. We're starting a compound.
Yeah.
Like, I 100% agree. I think one of the things that Peter touched on that I wanted to kind of clarify is, a lot of people have a preconceived notion that they need to be broader because they're like, I need to attract everybody. In reality, you attract no one.
Yes.
And the fact that when you go niche to say helping new families find their first home, for their children and the education, whatever that kind of subsector is, like, you are now resonating with that subsector so much more because you're like, listen, I get it. I moved from Philly. I've got 2 young daughters, got a wife. Like, we moved down here. I had to look at school districts. I had to look at all this stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, where'd you find good ones? You're like, this is the area you want to be in. Because all of a sudden it's like, bam, they know your jam. And it's like, how many people do you think, in this example, are opening new families all the time? A lot. Like, a lot, So, that market, the beautiful thing is, it's cyclical. There's more people always having kids.
Yeah.
So you're never going to run out. You service the same area. New people will come in and they'll have families and they'll be your new clients. And I think that's, I think you've nailed that, because I think that's where a lot of people go wrong in real estate business in general. It's like, go broad and attract everyone. In reality, you attract no one. And also it makes your market in dollars. I know we obviously all focus here heavily on Facebook and lead generation. It's like, you don't speak to an ideal avatar like you've spoken about, Jess. Your marketing dollars don't go nearly as far. They
don't go nearly as far, where they don't go anywhere, right? Yeah. Because I got a Facebook message from somebody the other day who was like, I want to do a bunch of boosted Facebook posts in my area to increase brand awareness. And I was like, put the money in a shoe and burn it. Like,
burn the shoe as well.
Right? Like, what? Like, that's not going to do anything. And if you're gonna advertise like that, you've got to have like $1 million a month, and still it's not going to, like, without a message. And this kind of brings us into the next section of it, right? Like, without a message, without some actual, like, psychologically driven messaging that resonates with your niche, like, it doesn't matter how much you spend or how much you put your brand out there. It's not going to work consistently, because, when you focus on, like, the humans behind the type of property and their specific problems, you're focusing on the reason why I chose these 3 topics is because they all really, like, kind of come in together. But marketing, all marketing is, and I think I said this, I'm going to be a broken record. I think I said this last time. All marketing is being able to articulate what's in the back of someone's head better than they can. When you can do that, you become the only option to solve that person's problem. Yeah. So that is really like, if you're going to take one soundbite and say, what is marketing? That's marketing. And it's not brand awareness. It's not colors and logos. It's not anything. It's breaking through all of that noise and having someone say, oh, like I feel like the number one piece of feedback that you want to be getting from people. And this is a comment I got in my Facebook group yesterday. Are you hiding in my closet and like listening to my conversation? And I'm like, well, like, no, but every single person thinks that they're special.
That's insane.
Like, and human psychology is human psychology. And once you nail it, and once you truly understand what's going on in these people's heads and what they need, and you build the product or your signature system around what do they need, not what do you want to do, then everything in your business becomes super easy.
Yeah. Scales effortlessly also. I mean, your third topic is 3 buckets, right?
Yeah.
For content. And so I wanted to unpack the 3 different buckets, obviously, for our listeners. They are all intertwined. Your topics, like something you just mentioned then, was the fact there's like the offer's easy when you really nail the person. You nail the person, you understand the message. Like having someone come at you, be like, you listen to my conversations. You should have responded, no, they don't call me Apple or Facebook.
Right.
But it's like, that's so powerful. I mean, just coming back to, your introduction of like some of the things you've done, like the fact that you've been able to help over 2,000 agents now scale and leverage and build like real businesses for themselves. These aren't like, I've helped one agent get to 30 deals a year. I'm sure you've done that. And then it's like, but now that agent doesn't want to work anymore. So he needs to build a team or systems in place or whatever that may be, or their goals might be,
And everybody talks all the time about how like business is so hard. Business isn't hard. People make business really hard, and I think that's one of the things is like everybody wants to be on level 10, but nobody wants to do level 2. And when you go from level 1 to level, like when you skip all of the foundational work to having a proper business or a sustainable business, then business is really hard.
Yeah.
Because you don't have, like, you're basically just constantly trying to like keep your head above water. Whereas if you build a foundation, you stand on the ground.
And that really comes from your second topic, which was human focus, know what you're doing, know who you're serving. And then it's like building that system around it. And then it'll take care of itself. I think everybody listening, they should want to hang out with you more because you're like, it's not hard. It's just have the system figured out. So thanks for listening to this episode. If you would like one-on-one access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below.